Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia, and in this video I am going to show you how to make a wood grain tumbler. And I'm actually going to do the wood grain on top and then a camo effect on the bottom, and all of this is done with alcohol inks. So this is part 2 in my Hunter series cups, because we are in hunting season, and I may do a cup 3, I don't know yet. I haven't gotten there. I know everybody is working on Christmas, and I haven't quite gotten there yet. I didn't want to miss hunting season. So if you're interested to see what I came up with, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so I have sanded my cup as I usually do, cleaned it with 91% alcohol, and then sprayed it with Rustoleum's 2 times Ivory, it's called. It is a gloss. I don't normally like gloss because I feel like it takes forever to dry, but that's all I had on hand. I couldn't find this in the mat. So what I do is I don't like to start out with a white base. I actually like to start out with this off-white base. And so now I am going to use a chip brush to apply my alcohol ink, or to brush it on. And so the color I'm using is Camo by Tim Holtz. It is, it's actually a little bit darker than I wanted. I actually wanted a little bit lighter, but the only thing lighter I have is Latte, and most of you know that if you use Latte turns green under epoxy and it doesn't bounce back. So Latte is like kind of out of the question. So I'm coming in with my Camo, and this is all I'm doing. Actually just going up and down with the alcohol ink like that, and then just brushing it worked really, really well. And just going up and down, make sure you go one direction, make sure you get to that tape line. Oh, and I did tape off the bottom, sorry I didn't mention that, with blue painter's tape, and then I covered it with cling wrap so that I can protect that bottom, because I am going to do the camo effect on the bottom of this cup. So I don't normally work on 30 ounces. I don't normally like this shape of cup, but for this it worked out really, really well, and it was actually the perfect shape for what I wanted to do. So just take your time and go around the cup and just do this. Alcohol ink will cancel itself out, so if you go over it, it'll kind of lighten it up and it'll make different streaks, and that's really good for texture. So, you know, it's not bad if you go around the cup more than once, or you go in a heavy spot and, you know, put some more alcohol ink in there. Alcohol ink dries really, really quickly, which is nice because it won't take much time for this cup to dry once I am done with this part of it. And, you know, just make sure you just blended it out. There's no real right or wrong with this. It's just a matter of developing your own technique, and, you know, a matter of personal preference and what you like and what you think wood grain looks like. So normally, like I said, I don't like my wood grains. I don't seem to ever get the effect I want, but I'm pretty happy with this and how it's turning out. So, you know, I'm just going in and touching up, and that is pretty much it for this part of it. All right, so now that that top part is dried, I have not sealed it with anything, and I'm not going to seal it with anything. I took off my painter's tape and the cling wrap, and now I am wrapping the top with the cling wrap, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of overlap. My alcohol ink can overlap just a little bit, and that's okay, because when I come in with the alcohol ink on top of this one, it's going to be darker and it's going to blend, and there's not going to be any issues. So make sure you wear your gloves if you don't want alcohol ink all over your fingers, because my alcohol inks seem to be sloppy. And you're going to take some cling wrap, and you're going to take your alcohol inks. And so, you know, you pick what colors. I have a brown, I have a green, I have a red, I have an orange, and a black color. So, you know, pick whatever you have or whatever you want. I am going to show a picture up above of what colors I used, and so, you know, if you want to use the same exact colors, but you just put them on this cling wrap, and then you just wrap the cling wrap like around half of it, pat it on there, pull it off, and now you're going to use the cling wrap to just pat around the rest of the cup and on that, and it's going to create that texture, which, you know, is a really neat effect, you know, because you're getting that crinkling in there from the cling wrap. And so I do not take credit for this. I got this idea from Karen Basket, DIYer. She's also on YouTube, and she's got a great channel, and she comes up with, you know, some really great, great designs. So you should check her out. But this is where I got the idea, and I told her I was going to totally try this. So Karen, thank you for sharing this, because I love how it came out. And so now, you know, it's just a matter of getting coverage. And so just, you know, keep going around, and when it gets dry, because, you know, again, alcohol inks dry quick, go in and just put some more in there of the colors, and it's just a matter of playing around with it. And again, it's, you know, it's a matter of personal preference of what you like. So that is it for this portion. And so I am going to go ahead and let this dry. Once I am done with it, I'm going to take that cellophane off the top. Is that right? Cling wrap, cellophane, whatever. That clear stuff. And I'm going to let this dry overnight, make sure it's good and dry, and then it's going to be ready for its first coat of epoxy. All right, this has got a coat of epoxy on it now. I really like the way this looks. I'm liking my wood grain. So now it's time to put on my stencils. And so I printed up a deer head, and I'm going to apply this to the one side. And so the vinyl I used, make sure you use a removable vinyl. Don't use permanent, because it's going to be hard to get off. And, you know, the easier the better. And so what I'm using is Duct Brand shelf paper, or what do they call it? Shelf liner. You get it from Walmart. You get a big roll. It's really cheap. It's like $6, and you get like, I don't know, 15 feet of this stuff. It lasts a really long time. And so then I'm going to go on my other side, and I put on this decal, "Show me your rack." I have to find humor in things sometimes. Like sometimes I don't know, it's like all serious. You know, you got your camo, and, you know, hunters are all serious. No, let's not be serious. Let's have some fun with this. So this is, you know, and I just did this in the white, and now, you know, once I get it on and I smooth it out, this shelf paper is a little difficult to work with because it rips easy. So just be aware of that. And I think I was missing a piece here that didn't want to release. So, and my transfer paper is kind of old, so it was not sticking really well either. So I'm going to use blue painter's tape, and I'm going to de-sticky it by putting it on my clothes, because, you know, I only have one layer of epoxy on here, and you could, if your tape is too sticky, it could pull that one layer of epoxy up. Trust me, I know it happened one time. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. And that's a whole big problem to fix. So I make sure that my tape is de-stickied before I apply it on something like only one layer. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply that cling wrap around the bottom. We want to protect this, even though it does have epoxy on it. And if it drips down, you'd be able to take it off easily with some alcohol. But I'm just, you know, avoiding this step. I don't know if I really needed to do this, but covering it, making sure it's protected. And so now I'm going to come in, and I'm using teak wood, which is a darker. Oh, I'm showing you there. It bubbled up a little bit, the paper, so I tried to peel it up, and then it ripped, so then I had to put it back down and then just put slits in there. Because of the curve, there was like some bubbling down there, so I put some slits in so that it would lay flat, because the alcohol ink will get underneath your vinyl if it's not pressed down really well. And it did happen a little bit, and I'll show you how to fix that later on. So all right, now I am ready to go ahead and start applying my teak wood. And this is another Tim Holtz alcohol ink. And I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with the other cup. And I don't have to lift this cup up because of the taper. I'm just going to put it on there and apply it with my brush. And I thought that, you know, I wanted it a little bit darker, and I was going to use that other one that I just showed you. I forget the name off the top of my head. Espresso, that was it. But the espresso wound up not being any darker than the teak wood, so I just, you know, stayed with the teak wood and just did the same technique as I did before, but now this time I'm going over the stencil. And the reason why I'm using a stencil is because I want this cup to have a carved look. So to achieve the carved look, you do the lighter wood, you put a stencil and then you do the darker wood on top. So when you peel that stencil back, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna give that illusion that it's been carved. And there's nothing more to narrate on this, so I'm just gonna put some music on and you continue to watch, or you can just skip to the step where this is dry and I'm peeling my tape on off and moving to the next step. So I let this dry a few minutes and then I went right away and peeled off my tape and my cling wrap, cellophane, whatever that clear stuff is. And now I'm going to peel off my stencil. So once I am done peeling off that stencil, I am going to let this cup sit overnight and then I'm going to epoxy it and this cup's going to be done, guys. So a little of the alcohol ink leaked underneath my stencil, so really easy to remove. Just use 91% alcohol. I sprayed a Q-tip and dabbed off the Q-tip. I didn't want there to be, like, it doesn't, you don't want it saturated, you just want it damp. And then you're gonna go ahead and just wipe away that, the extra alcohol that got underneath that stencil. So it's that easy. All right, everyone, she is done. I get so excited when my cups are done and they turned out the way I saw them in my head. Anyway, a coat of epoxy makes this pop. It looks so gorgeous. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. You know, I'm really happy with my wood grain, and I am so happy that I saw this video from Karen Basket DIYer on this technique for doing camo at the bottom with alcohol ink. So thank you, Karen. I loved your video and I was inspired by that. So thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you check the description down below for links to products that I use or where you can find them. As always, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. That really helps me out. Share, comment. I love to hear your feedback. Oh, make sure you check out my Facebook page or Glitter Makes It Facebook page. If you're not a member there, please join. I'd love to see the things that you make if you're inspired by any of my videos. Also, Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I post everything that I do here on Instagram. You know, if you're inspired by something and you make something, tag me. I just got tagged on my dragon tumbler, so I'm so excited that somebody was inspired to use that to make one for herself. And that is it, guys, for this tutorial. I will see you all next time. Bye.